A new leak from anonymous whistleblower Thomas Shaw has targeted the US Embassy in Berlin.
There's a leak in the CIA. We need you in Berlin. No one can know why you're there. Not the chief. Not his deputies. Not a soul.
Who am I looking at?
Everyone.
Bradford, I want to get a sense, the first season of Berlin Station, which I thought was fantastic, really, you guys had a complete story, and you took elements of what we were seeing with WikiLeaks and other leakers, Snowden and many others, and took it into the heart of, I guess, the Western Alliance with the United States relationship with Germany, and specifically into, as by the title, the Berlin Station of the CIA. How did you construct that story and keep it feeling so current at the same time?
Well, obviously it was created and developed in the wake of Snowden and Assange, but where the show sort of aspires to really make its mark is in the theme of human intelligence. And this not being a spy show that relies too heavily on technology, but on the sort of the old-fashioned ways of human intelligence. And so while the leaks were our way in to the thematic concerns of the first season, the deeper cause, the deeper motivation was for them to provide the way into the characters.
How did you see the evolution of your character as you see, this deceit and lies? At one point it seemed like you were maybe going over to another side, but then you didn't playing. It was such a shell game, Berlin Station. It felt sometimes like you really didn't know who anybody was, and they maybe didn't know it themselves.
It's intelligence, it's privacy, it's transparency. What do those mean to you? What do those mean to you as an individual? What do those mean to you as an American, as a member of the global community? And as an operative, as an employee of the CIA, it's about a moral compass and intelligence. What is it? How do you get it? And what are you willing to do to get it? And how are you going to bend that moral compass when you need to?
Michelle, one of the things about the show is you were really the primary female character within the station. There are other strong female characters as well, and I think that's a great testament to the show. But your character really is battling against two enemies, in a sense. Is battling against a male glass ceiling, and also is battling about trying to find the place in what is an ever-shifting landscape. I wanted to get a sense of what was that process like for you in that character, and how did you prepare?
I did a lot of reading. In a strange way, something I didn't expect. I'm very involved in the animal activist world, and I know a lot of undercover people in that world. And so I sort of turned there as to what it really, because, going to the CIA, it's so secretive that you can't ever really get to the bottom of it. So I went to a lot of my friends in that world to understand what it really feels like to lead these double lives and how much you really sacrifice. And we were able to speak to a lot of the people in the CIA in Berlin. And, I resisted going to Valerie Plame for a long, long time. And then when I did, I was glad that I did, because it really helped me to understand what it's like for a woman to be undercover and to sacrifice so much of your personal life in order to do this job.
How did you guys find those stories, the personal stories of the operatives, the agents?
Well, they're not. These guys are not superheroes. These guys are not James or Jane Bond. They're broken, damaged people whose personal lives are a shambles. I mean, the CIA exacts an enormous toll on the people that work for it.
What does Berlin Station tell us about our intelligence service and the role that they're now playing on the global stage?
I sort of think of the first season, both vis-a-vis that larger picture and the specific Thomas Shaw storyline, as America having a conversation with itself in this larger global canvas, which we sort of carry into the second season in a totally different thematic area. But I think it's sort of stating the obvious to say that America is in a kind of an identity crisis at the moment, but it certainly hasn't been just recently, and this is something that really has been fraught and quite acute since the start of the millennium, and so that's how we sort of almost subconsciously treat the show creatively. When we go to the stories and to the characters, and what is our role? What are we here to do? What are the lines between right and wrong and good and evil, and who are we to sort of be the arbiter of those questions?